Thank you all for being here today. So in 2023, I have a county, it's part of my 5th congressional district in Wisconsin, Washington County. They established, the county exec, to his credit, established a program to increase the supply of homes that are priced, you know, in general, kind of across the board. You'd say were middle income. And the goal of the program is to provide quality homes within 30% of the median household income. Under the program, the county provides funding based on maximum of $20,000 per owner-occupied dwelling unit, and it's capped at $2.4 million for any one site. So it's that they're thinking out of the box, and they're trying to come up with a way of building something maybe smaller square footage and smaller lot size, but still fits within the constraints of what would be considered local and state regulations. And this investment is basically a grant to local governments and acts as a 0% loan for infrastructure, construction, and other eligible expenses, and is then returned to the county in the revolving fund. It's actually, they've had great success already. So, Mr. Hughes, I'm just wondering, I know I'm kind of hitting you with something maybe you're unaware of, but are there other things like this that maybe you're seeing where people are thinking out of the box right now in developing some new footprints that is starting to allow us to build some affordable housing in some of these counties?
Probably the most popular of those that I'm aware of is the increased use of accessory dwelling units, which much smaller. Sometimes it's renovating attic over a garage for a mother-in-law, but yes, this is becoming very common, and more jurisdictions are allowing it. But unfortunately, I would guess that there are more jurisdictions that don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, my frustration, I think, is that when you look at certain parts of my state, in my district and outside of my district, there's a ton of construction going on, but they're building rental units, right? Or they're building these multiple duplex units, which is, you know, obviously kind of money-making ventures for a lot of those that are involved in the building trades. It's the single-family homes that aren't being built. What we're trying to figure out, I guess, is are these newer units being built, the rental units and the duplexes being built in lieu of single-family housing? Is that something that you're seeing as well, kind of on a national scale?
I'm not sure on a national scale. I can speak to my locale.
Yeah. That'd be helpful.
We have a pretty balanced mix, I think. Of course, we're seeing a lot of growth. I'm from Lexington, North Carolina, and for 100 years, our economy was furniture, textiles, and tobacco, and they all went away in about a 10-year period. And so we've worked very hard to recruit manufacturing, and I like to say that we're a victim of our own success, and we have enticed some very large manufacturers. So we're building a Simmons plant to build locomotives, and we simply don't have enough houses to go around. So we've got a good mix in our area of single family and apartments. Now, as far as nationally, I apologize, I wouldn't know what the numbers were there.
Yeah, and I think the other issue that's kind of started to emerge is that in the late 90s, there were a lot of subdivisions that were built, and they were large square footage homes, McMansions, right?
Sure.
And there really hasn't been a shift away from that, and yet the prices associated with a lot of those subdivisions are just they're too high. Sure. It's not something it's not a starter home, right? It's not a starter home. Right. So as builders kind of work through that process and come up with a different type of dwelling that maybe fits that, it might help to relieve some of the pressure that's on right now.
Right. I think one trend, you'd be glad to say, I think the average size of a custom home today is smaller. So maybe people are using a little more common sense.
Yeah, I mean, in the 50s, a 2-bedroom, 1-bath home was the standard.
Sure.
And suddenly that became 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and it continued to grow. So maybe that's an answer. So I'm out of time. Thank you very much. I yield back.